Hello guys, welcome back to Yamcha Sessions. This podcast is brought to you by Viral. Viral is led by MJ and his team. Viral is led by MJ and his team on his YouTube channel, Viral. They have a podcast as well, Viral Podcast. So if you guys want to check that out, you should totally check it out. Their YouTube channel, bracket S, YouTube channels, talk about financial literacy and also the stock market.
Right. Super important in today's climate.
Yeah, man.
Markets crashing. Now's the time. Generational wealth, guys.
So if you guys are interested in learning about financial literacy and investing, you should totally check it out. But if you want to dive deeper, right, check out their SIB course. So it's $247 for the entire course. I think market rate is around 5 to 10K ringgit. So $247 is about 1K ringgit. Totally worth it if you want to have an in-depth course on financial literacy.
Yep. And we've been through the course, so we can speak for it.
It's pretty dope. It's actually quite concise for what it is. It's concise, but also at the same time, it's dense.
It is very dense. You can't just like treat it as white noise. You really have to pay attention.
Yeah. But the key thing here is there is a 10-day refund. So it's risk-free. But I would like to encourage you to spend your time in going through this course because I think it's a lot of nuggets of information. Okay? If you key in the code YCSSIB, when you check out, you get a 10% discount. If you're lazy, just like most of us, you would probably just click in the link in the description below.
Definitely.
Yeah. So hope you guys check out Viral's content, but I also hope you guys enjoy the rest of this podcast. I love you guys very much. Love you long, long time.
Annyeong.
Okay, welcome back to Yamcha Sessions. Today we have Mei Phing. Your podcast or show on YouTube is called Corporate Survivor.
Yes.
Right? And a bit of context because the previous podcast I forgot to mention how we met or whatever, right? So
someone commented.
Yeah, someone commented
yes,
that.
yes.
So the context is you reached out to Poige to have a podcast with us, right? Mm-hmm. And Andrew also has told me that you have commented on basically every single Malaysian pay gap post.
Is it every? But I guess I'm quite active on Malaysian pay gap. That's a better way of putting it.
It's a very bold statement to say every post. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to wager conservatively 90% coverage.
Would you say?
Maybe.
90% sounds like a safe.
Because I stalk every post on Malaysian pay gap. And
and then why are you not commenting?
Yeah. And I go into the comments for every single post and I always see you there.
Right.
And you're one of the top grossing comments for obvious reasons, right? Got the most likes or most engagement. So I'm very familiar face, this one.
So this is destiny brought us together.
I think so. Law of attraction.
Let's just jump into talking about Malaysia pay gap then. But which by the way is no longer available on Instagram, right? They were banned, right? It came back.
Wait. Sorry. They went away for a while.
Yeah.
Why?
Somebody reported them, I think.
Yeah.
All his CEO couldn't handle the truth. Then they're like, I gotta report this shit. And then
Are you fucking serious? They really removed it?
yeah, it was removed from Instagram for a moment.
Which is very understandable, right? Because Meta essentially they really trust users' feedback in terms of negative reports. Right? So if one or two people report, I'm not happy because for whatever personal reason, Meta will take it down. And then they will evaluate on a case-by-case basis whether or not I should lift the ban.
I see.
So that it's safe for people.
Also, it was being under investigation, technically.
Sure, but the challenge is you can imagine when they have a user base of, 2-3 billion people, they have a lot of accounts to cover, right?
Yeah.
So the lag time of them reapproving your account is going to be very, very long.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Have you met her before, Malaysian Pay Gap?
Not in person, but I think we did a live event before. I think there was a point in time everyone thought Mei Phing was Malaysian pay gap. I'm like, no, Mei Phing is not Malaysian pay gap. Because her face hasn't, she never really showed her, how she looks like and stuff like that. Then because I am the main comment, I guess I comment on a lot of the posts. So I did receive some DMs saying, hey, Mei Phing, so are you Malaysian pay gap? I'm like, no. Let me give you the information about the founder.
She's like L in Death Note,
So wait, who is Malaysian Pay Gap?
Ice Frog.
What?
None of y'all play Dota, sorry.
What the?
It's okay. Ignore that.
So you've met her personally?
No.
Oh, I mean, like online lah.
Yeah,
like, you did a
online
live thing.
one.
with
So
her.
she's a real person.
Yeah, she's a real person. She's a photographer.
Oh,
She's a photographer.
Yeah. Like
Holy
social
shit.
causes and stuff like that. I think you guys can just Google quickly if you're
I
interested.
need to talk to her.
She did a podcast before. I think
No.
BFM or something like that.
With BFM?
Yeah.
No problem. We should get her here, man.
She totally ghosts us, bro, when we DM her. But understandable lah. She's so big already.
Where?
I don't know.
That Pay Gap BFM, the business station. Oh, but it was.
She was. I don't think she showed her face.
She can't show her face lah. I think a high risk, low reward lah. You know. Yeah, right. Later she show her face, then all the CEO hantam ke when she parking the tire kena puncture some stuff. You know.
This is funny. Oh, is that her?
Yeah.
This is her.
Yeah.
Is she pretty, bro? Goodbye, wage taboo.
Wow. Cool. I've never actually seen her before. Like the face wise.
Neither have I.
That's wild. Okay. I think we'll circle back.
Okay, we go back to Mei Phing.
Sorry.
Yes.
We kind of go off tangent lah, quite easily. I know that you were working in corporate for a bit. I actually like skimmed through your LinkedIn and all that lah. Sounds quite stalkerish that now that I say that. But like,
It was just research purpose.
Research purposes.
just a tad bit stalkerish, Sean. But then, why not you elaborate for a lot of our listeners and viewers? How did you get into corporate, and how did you? Because I know you started in a smaller company during the financial crisis. So maybe you want to elaborate on what you studied and how you led to that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I studied accounting, contrary to popular belief.
Sorry
So
for your
I'm an
loss.
ACCA graduate. I'm a chartered accountant actually.
Sorry for your loss.
And when I graduated in 2008, 2009, unfortunately it was the financial crisis. And me being, happy-go-lucky, I didn't apply for any job or whatever. So I graduated and said, okay, not ready. I just want to apply or whatever. No jobs. Everything was frozen. I had nothing to do. So I had to stay at home. So after a while, I applied and joined a small company. And once the economy recovered a little bit more, then I kind of moved on to join bigger companies and gradually moved on to risk management. So I was with Visa at some point, credit card company, Visa.
Yep.
Then I moved to Standard Chartered. Then I did risk management, compliance, the boring stuff, basically business advisory, portfolio management, ABCD, those kind of stuff. That was until 2019. So I would say that I was kind of at the peak of my career at some point. So I was managing a multi-million-dollar project portfolio. I had a lot of people working for me. I was also working with people across 42 countries. But during that time, my mom actually fell ill.
Okay.
So I decided to resign and come back to Penang, Malaysia.
Oh shit! So prior to this, you were
So I was
abroad?
working in Singapore for a long time.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see,
so
I see.
that I would say was the main turning point. So I came back to mainly be a caregiver mostly. But I think during that time, a lot of people, because when I was working, I was very busy, right? So I had no time for
I
anything.
understand.
DMs were unanswered, but I think when I came back and then I had some colleagues and some friends, so they started asking me, "Say, Mei Phing, so what are you doing right now? Are you free? Finally you're free, finally you can actually get hold of me and stuff like that." So they started asking me for advice and their resumes initially or their like work problems and stuff like that. So I would say career coaching found me. I didn't really find career coaching. I still call myself an accidental career coach. And people always ask me, what's the biggest passion now you move to career coaching? I'm like, I won't call it a passion. I would say it's a very painful time of my life, that career coaching found me. So I think I'm kind of taking it 1 year at a time.
Okay.
So year on year, at first I did like one-on-one career coaching, mainly like job search and a bit of corporate world stuff. But over time, sort of like move into launching my own programs, like mainly surviving in the corporate world, which I think is the area that I'm a lot better at, I'm really good at. And that's kind of like what I'm doing right now. So I'm doing career training, coaching and mentoring, mainly for 9-to-5 professionals who don't want to feel too much pain in their career. So
Drew, stop jerking off, Drew. Oh my god. Oh my god. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm amongst the three of us. I'm the only one who's a corporate rat, so to speak. So perhaps you can share on a high level, if I were to take 3 key takeaways from this. How do I survive in the corporate world?
Number 1,
I'm genuinely curious. I really need to know.
beer.
Sleep.
Yeah, well, I think breathing, beer and sleeping is, I would say symptom management lah. That's, realistically speaking, it's symptom management, right? Because like, what's going to happen is that you have this yo-yo effect and then you feel like shit And then you get back on Monday, you feel like shit again.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. You're waiting for Friday to come, and then when Monday comes, you're like, oh,
Devastation.
Okay, then you go on TikTok. Let's look at for some good tips, huh?
Funny thing, he's working in TikTok.
Yeah.
So he cannot go to TikTok.
No, I still do. I still do.
Does. That's the point. Okay. It's so addictive, you know?
Yeah, it's really too good.
Yeah. Okay, so quick one. So I can share with you basically 3 strategies, and there's something kind of teach a little bit more in my course. So very simple. So step 1 is get clear about the corporate world. So a lot of problems actually happen because no one is clear what their actual job is. If you go around asking people, so actually what's your job, ma? Then they'll give you a list of activities. So, my boss said I need to do A, B, C, D, E. But I'm like, that's not your job, okay?
Right.
That's not the goal.
Right.
That's just a list of activities that you need to do every day, every week, and so forth. So I say first step is actually gaining clarity on what truly matters and like your main KPI. So meaning that if you don't deliver this, you're probably going to get fired. That's why you're hired. Then the second step is get confident with your corporate skills. Now, a lot of people feel really bad and they feel like they want to quit because they feel that they don't have any confidence. But confidence is a feeling. I just gave a talk literally about confidence this morning. So confidence is a feeling, right? But feeling is yo-yo. Sometimes you feel good, then I feel like shit. Sometimes you have a cold drink, you're very happy, then tomorrow like, oh damn.
Yeah.
So how do you translate feelings into action? So how do you move confidence into competence is by taking action or developing skill set that you need that's actually stopping you from doing a better job. So some people, they think, everyone in my office hates me. I don't have a good people relationship. I'm like, are you a good communicator? Let's maybe talk about that. And right. What's your networking strategy? I like to ask those questions because that's a skill that you can improve on. But if we were to talk about how everyone hates you, then where do we go from there? It doesn't really move anywhere. Then the third one, once you have clarity on what you're supposed to be doing, you're confident because you know the skills, meaning that you don't need external validation, but if they put you in that situation, you can do a good job, you can hit your KPI. That's where inner confidence comes. Then you're ready for step 3. Step 3 is getting visible. Now you're ready with a strong reputation, going out there, making sure people know who you are to get rewarded for your hard work, right? That's positive appraisal. You can get good feedback, strong relationships. That's where salary increment comes in, the whole Malaysian pay gap, right? Negotiating your salary, looking for new opportunities, internal or external, and stuff like that. So I think one of the big mistakes I see in a lot of, 9-to-5 professionals is always wanting to do personal branding. That's step 3. See, think about it, right? If you do personal branding, but you don't know what your real job is, you don't know what your value is, you have no skills to offer, what branding are you doing? Yeah. What branding are you doing? I mean, you can try to get some clout, but I think it will all come crashing down, right? Because when people start asking detailed questions, you're like, I don't really know.
Yeah, right.
And that's when maybe if you are in that position, it's better to escape. Just quit lah. Little people find out I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. So then the vicious cycle starts again because they're not ready to maybe learn more about the foundation, actually what needs to be done, like clarity on what your role is, right? Learn about the corporate culture, the mindset, all those not fun stuff lah. I always say growth is not sexy, right? This stuff not sexy, But personal branding very fun. Yeah, see on LinkedIn, I can write whatever I want, get some attention, likes and stuff like that. Yeah,
I think it's like 2 in 2 though. But before we get to that whole like personal branding and growing, actually I was speaking to a few people in corporate as well, especially juniors, and they always highlight how it's difficult to know what your job scope is, especially when things are very fluid in the 21st century. A lot of things, like for example, if I was a marketeer in the, I wouldn't say olden day lah, but in the year 2000s lah, right? You would be like, okay, so basically I need to come up with a plan. I need to come up with, let's say, visuals. I work with my designer. It's quite straightforward, right? But because a lot of businesses, especially smaller ones, have become very lean, a lot of times you have to adopt various roles. Like, now I have to learn how to do TikTok, I have to learn how to do video, And I maybe for the younger generation, it could be as easy as, chill lah, I dance with my sister at home already. I will know how to do TikTok editing one. But for a lot of the older generation, it's quite intimidating, right? Because they've been in corporate for so long, that assurance, so-called confidence they've had has been like up there already, right? They're like, actually, I quite pro already lah, 15 years in the industry, whatever. And then suddenly when your upper management comes to you, hey, we need to diversify our marketing. We have to go into TikTok, but you can't really hire. I think that's when your confidence is shaken. And I got a feeling this happens every decade. I don't know why. Like if you look at the 90s, it's like drawing. Then later on, 2000s is you better learn how to use Photoshop and Illustrator. Then 2010 is you better learn how to do video editing, captioning, effects. I don't know what's 2020 now lah. Basically like, perform a miracle. But it changes so fast. And every 10 years, your confidence is totally shaken. This is what I observe, obviously, because when I look at like the senior designers that I worked with before, can see one, they're like, oh shit, how do I do this? It's quite tough, right? Don't you think?
I think what you are talking about, actually, there are two parts. So you started by talking about the younger professionals, so they kind of like go in very excited and so forth. But then later on, you kind of talked about the older professionals' inability to adapt, right? So I'll answer the question in two parts. So I think for the younger professionals, most of the time, it's probably their first job, maybe second job, right? First 3 years, right? So think about it. I think it happens a lot as agents. You go in, right? You don't dare to ask a single question. I keep quiet. My senior can't tell me what to do. I wait for my manager.
Definitely.
Right? So what actually happens is really, like I said, the first step that they're missing actually is clarity, getting clear on the corporate world. So a lot of people actually miss out the opportunity in the first 30 days to sit down with your manager and say, okay, I'm based on the JD that I was hired, right? I'm supposed to be doing this. So I just wanted to confirm, what am I exactly supposed to be doing and where can I get the resources or training or materials or whatever. But most people don't actually do that. So they do whatever they want to do. Oh, boss say do this, I do this. Boss say do that. Can you work extra hours? This and bits and pieces. So I think in a way, it balloons out very quickly and you may not actually be aware that things are ballooning.
Yeah.
Because you just feel like, I'm just doing a task and how come last time got 5 tasks per week? Now I feel like there are 15 tasks a
and
week.
it's a day-to-day thing, right? So it builds slowly and you don't realize it. Yeah.
So the more you can't finish, the more it kind of rolls to the next day, that sort of thing. But if you had just used the first 30 days to actually sit down, and this is kind of something I'll go into a little bit more detail, my course and stuff like that, but really outlining the first 30 days, what actually you're supposed to achieve week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, then that kind of sets the foundation. So this will lead into the other stuff where eventually maybe your boss comes with A, B, C, D, E. Then it actually sets you up in a space to negotiate your pay, your position and stuff like that. Say, hey, I started with this, now I'm already doing A, B, C, D, E. So
I see.
That's some smart shit.
I see.
So
I see.
the big mistake a lot of the younger people make is that, right, go in rushing in, right, tomorrow I'll become boss, tomorrow I'll become a senior. I'm like, but you're not positioning yourself. So in corporate, right, a lot of things is strategy. Hard work is not enough.
I couldn't agree more, maybe.
Not enough. A lot of people, there's a misconception is like, they always say, work smart. I'm like, okay, but if you work smart without learning how to work hard, you are going to design some shortcut that make the house of cards come tumbling down because you don't really understand end to end how it's supposed to work, why it's designed this way, and what your boss actually cares about, which kind of goes back to the step 1 I was talking about. So you try to cut because people say, I shouldn't be working late. Work-life balance, ma. So I want to go home.
Yeah.
So let me chop. Then you anyhow chop the pieces. In the end, the whole thing comes tumbling down because you may not have enough experience or spend enough time in the company or industry to really understand why it needs to be done this way. Once you learn it, of course, you can give some suggestions, be creative and chop out all this stuff. But I think that's probably the mistake. So that's quite different from the older generation one that you talk about, which is the adaptation. That one probably I will apply a slightly different strategy because that one is actually the problem is step 2. They know what they're supposed to do, but they don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Different thing. The first one is different. The first one is, actually I don't really know what's supposed to be do. I just do whatever. Right? So the second, I would say the older generation one in terms of to adapt, probably for those, they maybe need to be more upfront with their bosses and just say, okay, right, this is my skill set. Now you need me to do this. So can you give me like a 3-month plan to upskill because you expect it tomorrow cannot lah. But
That's
most
fair.
people, they don't want to say that because they're like, what if people think I'm stupid?
Yeah.
I'm like, stupid now or stupid later? Sometimes, I mean, like,
This is a fair point, man.
a
This
bit
one is
like
a
point, yeah.
rude about it, but like really think about it because if you agree, which is I think it's a very Asian thing. I used to work with a lot of Asians, Caucasians, people from many countries. I think it's a very Asian thing. Don't know, we don't say don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay lah. I try lah.
I couldn't agree more.
It's a cultural thing for sure.
I am not very familiar in the corporate world, all right? But I just want to ask, when your boss were to give you a task thing, right? And then you tell your boss, I don't know. Is there like any repercussion that will come in?
I will not use the word I don't know. There are many other ways to say I don't know without saying I
So
don't know.
maybe the individual can say, I am not familiar with this, something new. Can I get some opportunity to, learn about this and stuff like that or something? Because I feel like even like for my wife, she's working in corporate. when the boss asks her to do things, she'll take yes. Then she'll come back home. Then she'll
yeah,
I don't know
normal.
how to do this. Then she complain to me. Then I'm like, what want me to do? Then I need to do her work. Leave me alone. You know, it's just like an Asian thing. You know, just like what you said. Yes. Damn.
Yeah.
Shit.
There is this like I saw this diagram of Asians versus like, okay, so not Asian lah. It's like Eastern versus Western mentality. Western mentality approaches it head on. So they would say something along the lines of like, I'm unsure how to do this, but if you show me, I will do it. But Asians are like, we beat around the bush type of thing.
Okay.
You know, they go around.
Say okay, then go behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how to do?
Yeah.
How to do?
If you look at the
Wow,
Japanese,
dialogue.
That's such an Asian thing. Oh my god.
Yeah. It's quite an Eastern mentality thinking type of thing,
Shit.
right? But I feel also is, for example, if you were to be very Western approached, and I were to go into corporate, and I really do sometimes ask questions. If you come off too aggressive,
Then your boss fire you.
not fire lah. That one is damn aggro, bro. But I think the boss can come off as, how come this guy don't listen to what I say? There are instances, but it's just the way you.
That how?
It's quite.
Yeah.
It's the way you word it lah.
Yeah. No, I think first thing is self-reflection, right? Because I think I notice in a lot of younger people, they probably think they know more than they actually know.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, okay, maybe the box, right, has like 100 pieces of jigsaw puzzle, right? But you only see 10 and then you think the 10 is everything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Then when you talk about it, you sound very confident because like, there are only 10 jigsaw pieces. But from your boss standpoint, they're like, well, maybe there are 50 pieces or 100 pieces. So I think sometimes it's that bit of humility to try to understand and say, okay, this piece of work is being asked of me.
Yeah.
What is the objective actually? What do I think the boss really wants to achieve? And then you ask the question before saying yes.
Yeah.
You confirm first. Like I actually had a client recently. He took all the work. Then and he said he obviously didn't know how to do that. Then he said, then he when he was running, getting status updates and stuff like that, he was not getting the answers that he need. So he came to me and I said, okay, so I said, okay, so ultimately what's the objective? When you first sat down with your boss and the first time your boss gave you this piece of work, what questions did you ask to confirm? He said nothing. I just said yes. I said, okay, now you know, right?
Yeah lah.
So sometimes we think that it's okay, I try first. I'm like, you already don't know, right? When they tell you something, you already don't know. You think walking away, you will figure it out. It's like, no way.
And it gets worse, because the more information he passes to you and you keep agreeing, it's like levels and levels of I don't know.
Expectation have increased. The boss like, no questions, what? Must be okay, right?
I think it's because we are just damn paise lah. That's the word, man. Paise to ask.
No, I think it's a growth thing. For me, at least, it was a very growth thing because when I was younger, I used to be like a yes man as well. I like, okay lah, I do. Okay lah. Then I like, oh,
you got
shit.
burnt already.
Yeah.
Then you be like, I can't say yes. I need boundaries. I need to clarify.
But then I think later on, I ask questions. But then they will say, don't ask stupid questions. Think before you ask questions. And then when I grew older, I realized actually that those were really stupid questions.
Yeah.
Like if I really took a minute and like, what's the objective actually? And it's absolutely true, right? Because a lot of times it's like a pyramid and it drops down. And at the bottom, you just need execution. But midway, right, people get lost in translation. Because the top is like, hey, actually, we just want to achieve this. But then every goes circles down all the way to the end, right? And the guy is like, yeah, I just do. I got so much to do. I just do. And then you forget. And you just
I
waste
want to
time.
make a very quick comment on the fact that you said, you ask a stupid question. Now, maybe one of those quotes you might have heard is that, there are no stupid questions. That's like everybody, those social media, everyone's like, there are no stupid questions, just ask. Okay, I'll say this lah.
I'm scared.
There might be no stupid questions, but you will be judged by the quality of questions that you ask.
So then you're stupid lah.
Right. So if you ask a low quality question, it reflects on your reputation. Good or bad, I don't want to say. But I think we all know what's a research question that you did try to go and figure it out. You go and ask questions, you go and Google internal, intranet or whatever, versus a question just, hey, you sit next door, ask lah.
Yeah.
So you see, because one thing is people don't realize is that impression in corporate is very important. Perception is reality. So I always talk about positioning because don't need to rush. Okay? If you try to rush, right, you miss out some of the critical steps. This problem going to happen again and again. That's why personally I don't really buy this whole I cannot settle, I job hop. And then the problem is going to repeat because you have not truly resolved the actual problem that's happening at your work. You're just escaping.
Right. Yeah.
But isn't it like a very Asian thing? Instead of facing the problem head on, they just avoid and move on.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So how do you mold like your like younger generations who come to you, how do you mold them from this problem that we are facing right now? How do you shape them so that they can be better? Because it's in the end, it's more or less like personality trait. Like this guy might just be an introvert or something. He's just very shy to ask head on.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very difficult for them to
Mei Phing's go back, grow a pair. Oh, shit.
No lah. That's TikTok advice lah. Huh? Mei Phing does not give TikTok advice. Okay?
TikTok advice.
Gary
This
V
is
shit.
TikTok advice. Huh?
There's some Gary V shit. Grow a pair.
So careful. So it will be very difficult for these bunch of individuals. And I think there are a lot of these people out there. Like I've been talking to several younger people. Some reason I'm still attached to Tar College. I don't know why. So when I meet all these younger people, right, when I see them saying yes, then after that, because sometimes they think I cannot understand Chinese.
Okay.
But I understand what they're talking about. Then they're like, hey, cakap semua punya tahu how to do and everything.
Right,
Then I'm
right.
like, just ask lah, brother. You know? So I still...
He's the ninja amongst the Chinese. So, 不知道? Huh?
Yeah.
So how do you mold this kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, okay, personality is something that there is, I would say is a factor, but it's not everything. I mean, I've worked with people who are introverts and extroverts. I would say that right now my clients or rather students in my program is actually 50-50. 50% introvert, 50% extrovert. But so to me, personality can be trained. I mean, I do have like lessons teaching that, but I think the desire is very important. The desire of wanting to grow. But second thing, I think who you're going for advice is really the most important thing. Now, we go back to the students who are feeling lost, the younger generation, right? Who are they going for advice?
TikTok.
Amongst themselves, lah, bro.
Okay, so the first group is amongst themselves, right?
Yeah.
So you think if your friend has not solved that problem, what do you think what kind of advice do you think they're giving you?
A garbage
An
advice.
idea lah, a concept lah, something they found on TikTok or whatever, right? So first thing is they are talking to their peers. So all of you have not overcome this problem before, right? So how are you going to help each other? So that's really the first group. Second group, they go to TikTok. Now, this is my opinion on TikTok, right? I think TikTok is a very entertaining platform. There are a lot of content creators who can deliver very interesting messages with short videos. But my question is that are they the right people to teach you how to navigate your career? Because it's very entertaining, like for sure it's funny, right? And stuff like that. But I would say, have they overcome these problems themselves? Or they are just giving an advice because they have something to say? And I'll tell you this, I'll tell you why. Now, recently I had this someone I worked with a very long time ago. And now no longer working together. So recently, he was actually let go post his probation. So he didn't pass his 6-month probation.
Oh, sad.
Right? I mean, it was all over social media. He didn't tell me, but like, you know, you can tell everyone on social media. So he didn't pass his 6-month probation. Then he, there were a lot of problems. So he came out saying now, you know, his bosses doesn't like him, maybe CDE, like, you know, it's very easy to think it's other people's problem. What's more interesting is the next thing, he's not a career mentor. Now, get this. It's not a career mentor. Now I want to teach young people how to think about their career. I'm like, really? I mean, I don't mean to be rude, but I do think sometimes like we really need to think about who are you actually listening to. It's like if you want to learn how to cycle, you go and learn from a cyclist. You want to learn how to run, you go and talk to a marathoner. You want to learn about your corporate career, then you talk to a TikToker who's very good at making videos. It's like, okay, I mean, if you want to make videos, then great, right? But are those people really the people you're supposed to be listening to? And I guess what's the background? Because I think a lot of people, they take it as face value. Okay, what? Very popular, 1,000 likes.
It's difficult to distinguish between what is credible and what is popular. That's the thing. Because
I
a lot
agree.
of times when you look at the view count, if it's 1 million, you're like credible.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean it's credible. That's the thing. Sometimes, if you look at the million one, it's just because of the shock value or entertainment value. It's more often than not, it's not about the content one, you know.
Probably more tied to how controversial it is rather than how insightful it is.
Yeah. Because controversial content gets a lot of likes, right? So sometimes I tell my clients, I say you need to differentiate what is education and what's entertainment. Follow Mei Phing. Mei Phing don't do entertainment. Okay.
I find you very entertaining.
You find me entertaining? I feel I'm so boring, you know. I don't know how to do any of these like videos and all this other nonsense. So I tell my students like, okay, if you wanna get some insights, real stuff, you can follow me. But if you want entertaining stuff, I don't know how to do any of the entertaining stuff. Like you can go to TikTok lah. I mean,
I think that
I need to admit stuff that I don't know, right? I'm like, I don't know how to do funny videos. And stuff.
I think entertaining can also mean in an effective way of delivery of information also. Because people, it's like, let's say if you were to concise like the 3 earlier, right? It's easy for people to absorb. So they're like, maybe they confuse that entertainment with effectivity. So they're like, no, okay. I think it's very easy to understand, you know, versus the whole, like, if you look at larger views, larger following and all that, then you're like, it's easier to look at the numbers. The numbers easy to fool people.
But I think sometimes, like, this is something I do work quite closely with the LinkedIn News Asia team. So sometimes we talk about it a bit. And I think the biggest concern is, like, with all these short apps and so forth, right? How much context are we actually removing from the real thing? Because, I mean, we all like stuff that are short, right? 5 seconds, 10 seconds. But eventually, the context is the thing that brings the success and builds the foundation. So after you strip out everything, then actually what's left?
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people, they come and tell me, say, hey, maybe all this generic advice, I feel is not working. I'm like, yeah, everyone's saying the same thing, of course. So I tell you one thing. So I do career consultation sessions, right? Or I do career strategy calls for my course students. So one question that they have to fill up in the form, I say, like, before we speak today, I want to know what have you done and where have you gone to for advice and why it didn't work for you.
Why it didn't work
Why
for you.
it did not work for you. So I give a list, right? YouTube, Google, blog, TikTok, social media, coach, mentor, training. What have you tried and why it didn't work?
Right.
So the general consensus is, I tried but I don't know why it all sounds the same. After a while, they realize that it all sounds the same. They try and then it doesn't really work. That's because it's too high level already. Because no one is interested in context, right? No one wants to listen to the details. It's all, just give me the answer.
Yeah. They want that magic pill, ma.
Yeah. So the other thing I can share with you is that for a long time I've taught this, because one of the questions I get asked in corporate is that, how did you climb the corporate ladder so young? So I was 29 when I made Senior Director Health Governance at Standard Chartered Global.
Wow.
So one of the questions I get asked is, what skills did you have that help you to climb that we can also learn? So after thinking for some time, I said, okay, there are 12.
12?
Top 12 soft skills that I think are interrelated.
Sure.
So I say, if you want link, I can share it with you. Now, a lot of young people come back to me, hey, Mei Phing, 12
It's a lot, right?
Lot,
Damn.
Give me the top 2
I'm more shocked at the
already.
exact number 12. That's the thing.
I'm like, you thought of 12?
Because everything is interrelated, right? Like I said, my style is more like, how do you position for long-term success versus, we do something lah. Because I can give you the answer that you want to hear. You want shock factor, I can do a lot of shock factor content, but I feel it's incongruent to like what I believe in. If I want to do shock factor content, I can just do a big TikTok video. I can shout and I just say, you deserve to get fired because you're stupid.
I'll watch that.
I can just... that's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to do that kind of content, I'm sure a lot of people would watch.
Yeah. Probably, I mean, it's the title that hooks people in.
So some people will come and like, what's the top 3? But you never give the answer because you need all 12, not just 3, right?
But do you think it's also like in accordance to your career? But because I know it's difficult to, like, every industry is somewhat a bit different. And if the details are what make up the entire journey are important, it should vary to some extent, ma. Right?
I disagree.
Is it?
I think corporate is corporate.
Corporate is corporate.
A lot of people, so like a lot of people tell me, corporate means more than 1,000 staff, global multinational company. That's not true.
I don't think,
That's not true. It's a structured organization with departments, teams, and clear roles and responsibilities. That's corporate. So NGO is actually a corporate. Public service is a corporate.
Right.
And so forth. So I've also clients in like public healthcare and stuff like that. Like things that you don't naturally think these are corporate. So it's all corporate. And of course, there are some industry knowledge that kind of like differentiates a bit. That's your industry technical knowledge. But the soft skills are still the same.
As in human to human, right?
How you approach your career, the 3-step strategy I told you is the same. Like, so tell me which industry that you don't need clarity on what you're supposed to be doing at work.
Yeah.
You need a JD, right?
Probably. Might be a good idea.
I think a JD is always there. It's just that I feel like, okay, so when I was speaking to my dad about this, he was saying how your JD is your JD. Whatever you're tasked to do is what you're tasked to do. But if I were to select 10 people, one of them only can go up, and everybody's following the JD, then what's the difference? So I will pick someone that goes beyond his JD. So right now, naturally, the competition is, what can I do beyond my JD? What can I do more? Whatever, right? So that's when I feel as if like, this kind of blurs the line, right? If do you work based on that JD and become like 100% effective within that JD, that list that's given to you? Or do you go beyond that and then show that, somewhat I have initiative to think of ideas out of that department, out of the JD?
Okay, I'll give you a third option. Do your JD well and then go and find new stuff. Do your JD well and then find new stuff, not the other way around.
So do both lah.
Do your JD well is the step 1, step 2 I told you about, right? Like with your skills and stuff like that. But then step 3 is where you get new opportunities with personal branding. That's like getting new opportunities, going volunteering for stuff. Why I believe in this very strongly is that I worked with a client once, typical, I know, graduate 1 year plus, must show creativity, must give idea.
Sure.
So what happened was that he went around volunteering for work,
Okay.
but he couldn't actually finish his own KPI. I mean, it's kind of done, but not really well done. And, he didn't really communicate his progress update well, and a few ABACDE, a bunch of other stuff. So when your own KPI you cannot resolve, all the extra stuff, how?
Yeah.
Cannot also,
comes tumbling down.
Comes
right?
tumbling down, everything, in the end, everything gone.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's like, we want to show you're more proactive, but make sure that you cover your bases too. So that's why I think the first 2 steps, clarity on what you're supposed to be doing, having the skills. So once you have mastered that, then you can go and volunteer for new stuff. Then you can ask your boss, okay, I would like to get a promotion, right? What would qualify me for a promotion at the year end?
Right.
What more can I take on? What other stuff you have
Oh,
that
definitely.
you think fit my skills?
Yeah, I feel like
Right?
that.
Then can we talk about that a bit
Yeah,
more?
that initiative I feel is missing in a lot of people. I feel, because I think when there is an expectation and then you meet the expectation, then you're not holding up your end of the deal, ma. At least you had that conversation. But a lot of times, like, you would rather go that passive route, and then you're like, no, I just do my JD, and then hopefully he'll notice me. Because a lot of times, like, the introversion comes from the Asian aspect where you're like, no, ma, I follow what I do, ma.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then if you don't get promoted, you're like, it's not working out here.
Okay, I'll give
what I
I'll
mean?
give you a new perspective on this one as well, right? So I'm all about perspective. I think it's the positioning angle is very important.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people think, I do what's in my JD, I should get promoted. But a promotion is for a new job, right? That you have not shown that you have any potential yet.
Yeah.
Because you think, if you say it this way, right? I finished my JD, I should get promoted. No, you finish your JD, that's why you get paid. You get your monthly salary.
That's
done already.
That was the deal.
That was the deal.
Yeah.
You're supposed to do 10 things.
Yep.
Now you get paid every month.
Yeah.
Now, if you don't get paid, you don't finish your work, then you get paid, then I think there's a different story. Right? So that's why I think doing your baseline job well allows you to continuously share achievement every month and every quarter with your boss. And they now see you, they say, you can do everything well. Then you also need to be proactive. You also need to ask by saying that, okay, I'd like to do this. Now, one of the things I think when you say people volunteer for new initiatives, right? The one danger here is that they volunteer for anything. Now, not everything is suitable for you. Not every new special opportunity that you think is very exciting is good. There are some extra work that nobody wants to do, and then your boss is looking for this volunteer. So sometimes a lot of people don't think through, and I think that there's a bit of lacking in like self-awareness and self-assessment of their skill set. Like for me, I would never volunteer for something that I know I'll fail at. I'm like, why would you put yourself out there to be like, hey, you did very well, but because this special project you failed, then it kind of like cancels your entire performance. So the self-awareness on like how you behave, what you're good at, what you're not good at, what are the skills that you think can maybe add value, then those things, like if once you have an idea, right, then when you have those like quarterly sessions or bi-yearly sessions with your manager, then sometimes I propose. I say, I notice, right, there's this thing going on that I would like to do this. How can I get on this? I think this will be a great experience for me. So sometimes it's like, you do a bit of pitching also lah, right? You want to get that thing that you want. Right. You don't want to say, hey, I put up my hand, then what if they give you one thing, then that's actually not what you want.
Yeah.
So I've also managed staff like this. I'm giving you guys multi-angle. I've also managed staff and stuff like that. So I used to have a staff when I was working at StanChart. So she was very young, and she actually went to my big boss directly and said that I want to get new opportunities. I want to work with like the UK team. I'm like, okay, sounds good, right? So my boss was like, okay, let's find something for her. So my boss found something for her and passed it to her. Then after she got the briefing, she realized it's too hard to want.
Oh, nice.
Don't want.
It's like going shopping like that.
And then you know our time zone in UK is quite different lah.
Yes.
So when you want to work with the UK team, you need to work a bit late lah. You need to work a bit late, right?
She don't know what she was getting into.
Exactly. So what happened was that after she got the briefing, then she thought about it. Then she came back a few days later. She went to my boss directly. So my boss was like, what the heck? So she went to my boss directly and she said that, actually, this one is actually a bit too hard for me. And then I didn't realize that I need to be working at like 5 to 6 for this conference call. Then she turned around, she said, you guys need to increase my salary.
Ooh.
I like what the heck?
That's very snarky.
No, but it's rude, right? I mean, that's
yeah.
why I'm not saying that we shouldn't be negotiating our strategy, adding value, but the way it comes across was a bit off. Then you're like, hey, you playing with me or what?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And then on top of that, she has only 1 year of experience, super fresh, and the work that she has asked for, she has never done before. So we're like, you can or not?
Yo,
I don't. Then you see, right, once you have that kind of impression, like I said, reputation sticks, perception is reality. Once she has that kind of reputation, then me and my boss sat down, and then we actually reviewed the actual quality of her work. We went drill down into her work, then we realized that, I think she's not ready. So we actually scope out her work. Now you're on the other direction, right? Now you're
Right.
from being proactive to
Destructive?
Yeah.
performance plan.
Oh,
Now we're
yo,
like, hey, this thing, we're not okay.
Kena PIP ah?
Bro, she dug her grave, bro.
No, that's why I'm saying that you have to be very careful, not saying every time you put up your hand is the right
Yeah.
thing. So you need to make sure you know what you're asking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun now. How about UK team?
It's so difficult though. Okay, so right, I just turned 30, all right? And I feel even at 30, I feel like I'm not that smart. Okay? But when I try to imagine myself, right, in my early 20s, like I'm 21, working in an MNC, right? And then I try to imagine myself. I come from a family background where it's always good to show initiative because you have to help. Because it's a family business, you have to carry stuff, like simple stuff like that, right? But then when you work in a corporate setting, at least for myself, I was like, yo, you want me to help you with that? You want me to help you with that? And then it came off as two things, First of all is, hey, this John, right? Did he even do his work well?
very free. This guy walking around.
Then number two, right? My boss felt damn pissed, He pulled me to the side. I was like, hey, what the fuck is this? You keep asking people, like, you need work like that, is it? It's making me look like as if I don't give you enough work. Then I like, oh my God, I never even saw it in
Perspective.
that. Yeah, because it's so ingrained in my soul, Like 9-year-old kids packing shit. Yeah, I do it because mom told me to do it, right? And then when you grow older, you're like, no, I want to help. And then you're like, no, you shouldn't do that. There are a lot of hidden rules, I feel, in corporate.
No, that's why I was saying that when we talked about the 3-step framework, the first step is always understanding the corporate world, the dynamics, the culture, and so forth. So drilling into the org chart is like one of the first lessons because you need to know who's who. Because one thing that I used to run a team, right? So obviously we all have different responsibilities, we all have different budgets and timing. So one thing I really dislike is my staff going around, right, trying to help another team. I'm like, we got a lot of work to do. And you go around volunteering to help someone else. I'm like, did you not ask if the team here actually needs help?
Yeah.
Just because we didn't try to bombard you with more work doesn't mean that there's like no stuff. So it kind of like, it can come across a bit off, like if you're like a bit insensitive and you don't want that, like I said, that extra step of proactiveness now counts against you. So I mean, there's no like right and wrong. It's always very contextual. It depends on like that situation itself. So that's why for me, right, I'm really very against all this short like advice because I'm like, well, if you apply the wrong type, cham.
Yeah.
Because something you see, it's like, you see a career, right? It's not like eating junk food. Okay, why I say this way, see, it's not like health. Health, you're eating a burger. You shouldn't be eating Ramly burger tonight, lah. But you ate the Ramly burger because you want to feel happy.
It's good. It's
sounds
good.
Yeah, it's good. Awesome, right? So you eat, it's okay. The most repercussions is like, okay lah, tomorrow I just eat less, or like maybe, over time, it just like trickles away, right? But career is different. You make that one time, it can take you a very long time to bounce back if it's the wrong one.
Yeah.
It can also destroy your reputation. Because back to what John said about industry, right? See, people talk.
They do.
Your managers, your bosses, your team members, they move to other companies, they make friends, and they talk about you. So what do you want to be known for?
You want to be known as the guy that keep asking for help, but then actually counting his own shit.
This is why I always tell my wife, stop talking, stop gossiping, just go work, do your work. Don't even say yes to people unless you can go back home. Because I'm so scared people talk, Like there are times where some people will gossip with her, then she will actively join. Then I'm like, you better don't do that. Later people will say, you say, and then your reputation gone.
I actually feel it's almost this whole gossip thing and the fact that people talk, right? It's just a part of the game. Whether you participate in the game or not, the game is the game.
It's a game of thrones.
So it can work against you, but it can also work for you.
Yeah.
Right? If you excel really well at playing the corporate game, the effects are also long term. When your boss moves to another company, he's going to bring you along because you're that golden boy, right? Right. So it can work for you if you understand the game.
Yeah. But most people don't though.
Yeah, that's the challenge.
Most people anyhow lah.
Yeah.
Then they complain why I didn't get promoted. Why no salary increment? Why I got fired?
Which is why most people hate the corporate world because most people don't understand the game. But if you do understand the game, odds are you will like it. because you can use the game to your advantage, right?
Yeah.
Because you found those like certain rules and loopholes, ma. Like that, technically, okay, so nobody likes a kiss ass, that thing. But technically, right, some bosses love kiss ass, you know. And if you know how to like sway the right way, I feel like maybe it does bring
I
out,
think 50-50. I think bosses who like kiss asses are people who are not that great anyway.
They're not, but sometimes they help you they help you bridge. That's the thing. It's so difficult for me to say this because I'm a person that like, hey, fuck this shit, okay? I'm not gonna fucking kiss ass. I'll straight tell my boss like, it's not gonna work out, man. I will straight say this type of thing. But maybe it's like, wow, this guy, right? Fucking thorough, man. They're disrespectful. They really care about the hierarchy. They really care. So you gotta, I feel like you have to play by that.
But I will say that like if you're more junior right, again back to the jigsaw analogy, you may be seeing 20 pieces of the jigsaw, your boss may be seeing 50% of the jigsaw. So normally for my clients who are younger, I mean younger as in below 30 years old, like lower than a manager, be very careful to say cannot.
See?
How much do you know? How sure are you is really cannot? Because you may be lacking a lot of information, a lot of context. You're not talking to the people at the right level to give you the information that you need to make a more conclusive thing on whether it can or cannot. So instead of saying cannot, the best thing is that you should try to find out what your boss thinks can.
Why do you think this is possible?
Yeah, what does he actually want to do?
Yeah.
Like, it's all back to clarity, right? Clarity is like the biggest mess that a lot of people don't know. But they think they know, like, everyone cannot. You see, the fact that you said cannot means you're clear on something. But is that something equivalent to what your boss is?
Yeah, right.
What he visualized, may not the same thing.
Oh,
So what I will do is I will say, okay, I understand you want to do this and this. But based on the past projects that we have done, I noticed that we haven't done any of these things. Right? It based on at least based on my knowledge. I'm very careful with the words I use. At least based on my knowledge, it doesn't look like it's possible. So maybe I try to find out from you as to like how do you like visualize this thing to be done? Like maybe you can like share a bit so I can learn as to what you're actually expecting.
What is your expectation?
What you want. See, the art of asking is really the magic.
Yeah, man.
The art of asking.
You gotta play that game.
I think it's so people just don't ask.
It has to be framed in a very constructive way, I think is the key takeaway. Right? Saying cannot, I think anybody can say cannot, right? It's fairly easy to do. But if you frame it in a constructive way, okay, look, these are the challenges that I'm facing. Can you help me out? So that I can help you out in return. Then it becomes a more constructive conversation altogether, and all of us
Versus an abrupt stop.
then we all leave the room feeling a bit happier, right? You know, we all moved somewhere, as opposed to cannot and cannot.
You see, who wants to listen to a person that says no, cannot, right? No one likes it, right?
Not nice.
Yeah.
The only no is EA.
What?
It's okay. Don't listen to that. No.
Yeah.
Never mind. Okay. I want to ask you a question. No, that one was a little bit off. Okay, I want to answer a question. See, I've been watching a lot of Piers Morgan and and stuff like this, you know. So some of my really interesting, because these are videos that comes off from the UK and US side. So they were talking about the pay gap stuff, and since we were also there, right, I want to ask, do women in Malaysia, right, have substantial pay gap compared to men in your experience, based on what you've seen and talked? I'm very curious because I don't know, you know.
I have an opinion, but go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear
I'm
your
very
opinion.
interested to know.
I want to hear your opinion.
I am a personal believer of open, transparent salaries also. So whenever I have more intimate conversations one-on-one with people, I'll tend to bring this up. Sometimes depending on the context, right? And if they open up, I'll open up. Fair enough, right? And it's fair game. So in my personal view, there is a gap. And the reason, I don't know what the percentage gap is. I understand lately stats in the US is 84 cents to the dollar, something along those lines, right? I don't know what the gap is here, but my view of why the gap exists is mostly because women, generally speaking, tend to be less
Materialistic.
no
Agreeable.
They are less aggressive about asking for what they want. Generally, and also men tend to be risk takers, so we tend to apply for jobs where overqualified for, so to speak. We tend to ask for more promotions, and also society deems an attractive man to be a wealthy man, right? So we have an incentive to go further, right? So by and large, I think my personal view is those are the main reasons why. It's not that there is a quality difference. If you ask me strictly about quality, women are generally better, more detail oriented and whatnot. Men also have their strengths. They build more relationship, tend to focus a bit more on relationship building a little bit more. But I think that's a bit of the explains why the disparity exists, at least in my view.
Yeah, Yeah, I partially agree with that. I think for me, it's a really good question because I've never talked about this one before. So I think there are two main causes. One is societal, by the society. The other one is actually self-caused. So the society one is that if you think about it, right, women tend to take the back seat by having kids. So what age do women normally have kids? Probably in their late 20s to early 30s.
Yeah.
That's really the peak of your career. So if you think about a normal career, up the career ladder, that's the point that you are transitioning to become a manager.
Yeah.
Right? That's where you're actually getting that huge pay leap. So most women, I think, for those who want to have a family, have kids, right, they take a back seat. Now, the moment you take a back seat, right, you're now losing out that 1 or 2 years that you decide to take a break, right? So when you want to come back, you cannot compare to a man of a similar age. Right, because
the guy has no.
Yeah, the guy didn't take a break, right? So by the time you come back, you don't expect to be paid the salary that's like 2 years in advance. You get paid based on your last drawn salary.
Yeah.
Because your skills stop there. I mean, unless you do some other side hustle project stuff, but most people don't do that. So a lot of it, I think it's a family decision. It's a life decision. I mean, no right and wrong, right? Doesn't mean that you don't make that money. Doesn't mean it's not a bad thing. Because like kids, the first few years, like, it's probably a regret of your life if you don't spend time with your kids. But I think the second reason, I think I agree with what Andrew said, is that men tends to be more aggressive. But the part that you said, men is aggressive in negotiating, yes. But I think it actually happens a lot even before the salary negotiation. Yes, I think men tends to negotiate a salary because you're like, okay, why so little? Want to make more money? Or buy cars or whatever. But I think it actually starts even before that. So I speak to a lot of my clients are like, actually, I would say 50-50 men and women. See, a lot of men, right? They will try to apply like any job, I think can.
Yeah.
They apply.
Yeah,
They look at the list, right? Men is not exactly to your point. Actually, the fact that most men are not detail oriented actually plays into your strength in this part. You look at the list, right? You're not even looking at every single bullet in the job description. You glance, think can lah. We try. Then you go. Now, a lot of women, right, actually don't behave like that. What women will do is that they will look through every single bullet in the job description. They will start ticking the box. Tick, 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 tick. Oh, cannot. Then they just pile it in the corner. I wait. It really does happen. So usually what I explain to them, and this is from a context of a former hiring manager, and I tell them that it's a bonus tip for your audience. The JD normally got about 20 bullets, right? Plus minus, 18 to 20, 15 to 20. Actually, that's a wish list. And I'll tell you why. How do you know, right, what's the actual job that you are applying to do? The first 3 to 5 bullets.
Oh, that's the key
That's
one.
the real job.
Right.
You know why? Because the hiring manager wrote this. The person who is actually hiring, they'll be like, hey, Mei Phing, you hire a team member, right? Can you just fill up this form? Okay, I fill up 5 things. Now, that form gets passed to HR. or no, maybe that form gets passed to my boss first. Maybe my boss or my team members. And I pass on, I just say, hey, anything else you want to add?
Oh no.
Then they look at it, they're like, I think this person can do this also. Maybe let's also add this, blah, blah, blah. Then that list of 5
Karangan.
now turns into 10. Right? They're like, extra stuff. That's why some people go for interviews, they're like, how come all this extra stuff means what? You ask them interview, they cannot answer you also. Actually, what's this? That's very extra. Cover bases lah. More people can do it.
Understand.
Then it goes to HR. Now it's a formal process. It goes to actual HR BP, which is the business partner. Then it kind of goes to talent acquisition.
Right.
They now look into that 10 bullet. They're like, how can we portray the company's values in this?
Oh, fuck me.
And now they're like, okay, now you need this. Then they also ask you, what paper qualification you need, or this person needs to display, this value and that value, stuff like that. So HR probably puts in another 5 to 6 things. Right? Then it kind of passes around. So now you see this list of like 15 to 20. Like I said, right, most men, they look at the thing, they're like, I think can lah. They apply. Very aggressive. But women, they go through every single list and they're like, oh, but I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. Never mind, later.
Yeah. I totally agree. I skimmed the shit out of JDs, man. Or whatever, I just apply for some.
To be fair, I haven't looked at JD for quite some time.
Yeah.
Got JD one, man.
I think smaller businesses don't have JD, man. It's tough.
So what do you reckon the percentage gap is, Mei Phing, in your experience? If you were to take a guess, the gap between females and males, what do they make?
I don't want to give a percentage because I really think it depends on like the level and the industry that you're in.
Sure.
Because like you can be making a lot of money. I mean, for me, it's very difficult to say because to me, I've also worked in very male-dominated industries. I've also been at the top. It's very hard to say, but I will say that there are definitely less females on top. I would say 80-20.
80-20.
80-20.
This is from the perspective of number of females
Percentage,
to males at the top lah.
At the top, yeah.
Okay.
80-20.
But it like what you said is true also, because when you reach that point where you have to decide whether you want to have kids or whether you can go up, they take a backseat because they are getting pregnant.
Yeah.
So that's the fall off is at manager.
But
right?
probably at the 80-20, even at the top level is 80% male, 20% female. Probably the female will be making less because you're going to take into account the family time as well. How many kids you have.
Oh.
Right. Yeah. So you may be looking around and likely your male counterparts are making more money than you. Likely.
So
Because of genetics.
if you were to look at women with no children then, relative to males in general, do you reckon there is a pay gap there?
I think it depends on how aggressive that you move around in your career. I think I won't say it's very Malaysian based. I think it's down to the individual of how comfortable are you to seek out new opportunities and get tagged on to growing opportunities and the size of the company that you join.
Right.
Because some people, they feel that I feel very indebted with my boss. Hutang. Hutang my boss, I don't want to leave lah. But that 5 years that you stick with that same boss, right? If you have just gone out, you
could have been
that gap as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think there's a clear answer to that. I would say like how much you're thinking about your career for yourself versus, trying to make everyone happy. You can't make everyone happy.
Right.
What I tell my clients is that, you really enjoy working with this boss. Come back in the future when you get paid double. Work with this boss again. Next round. Like even up to today, I'm doing career coaching. One of my bosses actually started his own startup in Germany. He's still asking me, maybe you want to come and join me. I'm like, how much you want to pay me, bro?
Straight to the point.
No, I'm saying that if you really enjoy working with someone, right, they will want you back also, and you would want to go back, but at the right price.
That's right.
At the right price.
So
and at the right rank.
So you're saying the gap is not necessarily a divide between males and females, but more a divide between are you loyal to yourself or to your boss/company?
Yeah, how much you focus on your own growth versus trying to like make everyone happy? Because like at the end of the day, if you make a career mistake, that's on you. You may think that, I'm trying to help this company, or I'm trying to help my boss. I'm like, but that's on you. The long-term impact is on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Wow, this has been a lot of learning. Oh, yo. Damn, man.
Yeah, I guess from some personal experience also, learned the hard way a lot of the lessons you've talked about. Hard work doesn't really pay off. Well, not hard work in isolation anyway. Worked my ass off before, didn't get nuts. Learned that you actually have to ask for promotions. You don't just sit there praying to God you do get it. Job hopping helps, but planned. Don't job hop for the sake of job hopping. Needs to be properly thought out. Freaking perception is reality. Oh, that was a hard lesson to learn. Very uncomfortable truth, but also a truth nonetheless. So no choice.
Hurtful, but truthful.
I like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, okay, you see, so nowadays, right, in our corporates, right?
Sorry, go toilet.
Sorry, okay. So like say you have a JD and everything, right? I think I'm asking this because I feel like it happens a lot in offices. So maybe the viewers who are watching, they can learn from this. Sometimes when you have already finished your job, you're working 9 to 5. I'm done. Okay. Then there are people who they OT because they haven't done their job lah.
Yeah.
Then you leave, and then people, hey, look, he's going back home.
Yeah.
So how do you tell these people like you don't need to be afraid? Just go back home. You have done your job, But because I feel like there are a lot of people out there, even the younger peers, they purposely don't go back simply because they are scared their colleague will say, this guy never do his job one, I'll just go back only one on time. For me, it doesn't work that way. For me, if you've done your job, you just go back at 5 o'clock, But I feel like other people, especially Asians, the one I know, they're very paiseh. They come and tell me, I don't go back home, I purposely wait OT so that my colleague don't talk bad about me. But I don't think there's nothing bad about this. How do you preempt this for this case? Because I know it's widely happening out there. And
I think at the end of the day, right, it's really the culture of the company. So a boss that appreciates for you to work till 8, 9 o'clock every day, then you really ask yourself like, is this really the person, the kind of company you really want to work for? Because the culture is very difficult to change. Right? I mean, I worked with bosses who like, long hours and stuff like that, but I also worked with bosses who be like, why are you still here? Time to go off already, So I think it will be an evaluation of the culture, and but that's probably a long story, right? That one is more of a long-term strategy sort of thing that you feel that, okay, if you're getting dinged because you're leaving, then you really ask yourself whether this is the kind of life you want. Do you want this kind of company? But I give you a short-term answer to this. A short-term strategy would be you can set certain days that you confirm 早晚. So what I used to do, because so I'll tell them that I say, hey, normally, right, I OT on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, I go in yoga. 7 o'clock. I need to go already. So I said, if there's anything, right, can we try to shift everything to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, where I'll be working, I normally work late, I work till 8 or 9 o'clock. Can we move everything there? Now, once you start leaving, now, of course, some people will comment hey, Mei Phing, you're leaving. I said, but I've been worked late for the past 3 days. So I said, today I got an appointment, I need to go already. Normally, I say I booked the class already. So then they feel bad asking you to cancel your stuff, right?
Right.
So you need to play a bit psycho.
My one didn't work that way, bro.
Didn't work this way.
My one didn't work that way.
Your one family, small business is...
No. When I was working in Ogilvy that time, it was quite hardcore, man. My boss would put arm around me, turn me, U-turn, bring me back to my seat.
Yeah. No, you see, no. I kind of disagree. That's a test. You fail.
Is it?
Because you walk back. Yeah.
Actually, I'm just like...
You'll be like, hey,
under
sorry,
his
I really can't. I don't mind coming in a bit earlier tomorrow, help you sort it out.
Bro, I 1 month 3 a.m, bro.
You fail.
Yeah, man.
No, it was a test.
Is it?
It was a boundary test, actually.
See, corporate right, is not for me, man. It's so difficult. There's so many rules. There's so many rules. I don't know these type of things. I damn honest and upfront. I'm like, serious? Have to do So yeah, just do it, lor.
You're telling me the boss tried that out and the boss knew that, okay, I can OT this guy and he's going to just...
Bro, I didn't do anything also. It's like, we wait first. That's the thing.
So you failed the test lah.
You're
I
on
guess,
standby, on standby, right? Because bosses need standby.
Yeah.
So for that one, probably it's a small case lah. But I can tell you more serious one. So I used to work in an audit firm. So obviously audit firm is very hard to hire good people, hardworking people at that. So every time a good person wants to leave, right, one of the partners' KPI is talent retention. Good talent retention, to be clear on that. Good talent retention. So I used to work in a team where there were many instances where a lot of good people walked in the partner's office. The moment they come out, they retracted their resignation.
Money lah.
No, not money. The banks pay way better, right? But they walk in, then after one circle, they come out, they say, I think I better stay lah,
Well, they psycho them.
Yeah, very good psycho. So it's very dangerous for your career, right? I mean, think about your own repercussions. You already went through the whole crazy job search process, then you go into one circle, you be like, actually, I decided to stay.
Right.
So for the new company, it actually looks really bad. You might get blacklisted and stuff like that.
What the HR said lah, that's what I want to know.
But the main point is that they will try to psycho you to stay lah. Good people hard to find, right? So you sometimes need to be very clear what is your goal. You go in, you want to get the resignation sign off, you better make sure you achieve that before you walk out.
You know what? I agree with this.
You cannot sway one. You sway then I ask you, why do you look for a job? It's a complete waste of time. There's no mental energy. Create stress not for yourself, for your family members as well. So at first I didn't understand because that time I have not left. So I was like, wow, these people go in and walk out. I must got something, right?
You tried.
No, and then at one point, obviously, I resigned as well.
Okay.
So I learned that, actually, the partner is very persuasive. I think if you go in with like a bit free fluff, right, you come out sure kena one circle one. Because he go in, he's very good at asking questions. Then most of the time, you're fairly young, right? I mean, even executive to manager level, you're like 30 years old or even younger. So I noticed that he's very, very persuasive and he'll catch every single word that you say. He turn one around, he asks you back. So maybe you said you're going to join this kind of company. So what kind of value do you think it's going to give to you? How do you think your career is going to look out? Do you know that this kind of industry is not very prestigious for you? Do you think you're going to get blacklisted from blah, blah, blah if you come back? Like very persuasive stuff.
This sounds quite aggressive, bro.
Then sometimes they will...
Not going to lie, man.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like last resort, right? You're going to go off already. Or they will say, okay, what about if you stay, we give you this and that opportunity? Then they start now enticing you with the carrot, right? You can do this and that.
Sure.
So I think the moment you walk in, you need to be very clear what is the ultimate conclusion that you want. You want in or you want out? Mostly I tell the people don't retract. You know why? I tell you what happens if you go in and then you retract. Most people, it doesn't work out within 6 months. You know why? The trust is already broken.
Yeah.
The fact that you could go and job search, it doesn't happen in 1 month, okay?
Yeah.
It's a lengthy process. You're talking about average 2 to 3 months, generally speaking, for like a okay job, right? So trust is broken. Now you get retention. You feel I know new opportunity. I would say trust is broken. The worst thing is that now you actually give your boss time to find your replacement.
Oh shit!
So when you leave, right, you have no power whatsoever. It's gone. Like I mean, I've also handled a lot of staff resignation. To me, it's like as a manager, my first KPI is to make sure that you stay because I want to keep a good staff.
Yep.
But at the same time, if I know that you're unhappy. And there are some circumstances in which it's really beyond my control. It's very difficult for me to change. I mean, how honest, it really kind of depends on each manager. But there are some things that cannot easily be changed. So for you, even if you choose to stay for more money, are you happy with the circumstances? Because the extra 200 ringgit not going to change the situation, you know? You feel happy lah, but like it's not going to save
It
the
doesn't last long.
Yeah.
It doesn't last long.
And then for me, as a manager, or I can just tell that's what leadership does, right? We immediately find a replacement. You'll be like, okay, I think this person is going to leave. You've very indicated. I held back for now, but we need to quickly hire a replacement.
Right.
Yeah.
Brutal. But true.
I would generally agree with you. In my experience, I have U-turned once. Wanted to leave and then ended up staying. I think in this specific context, it worked fairly well, but mostly because the boss that I was reporting to at the time, he and I shared the same belief, at least in my view, that self-interest above all, right? If you want to leave for more money, by all means do it. If I solve that problem by, I don't know, counter offering you, then we've solved that problem, right? So we were on that same page in that sense. So I think in that specific context, it worked okay, right? If you truly address that problem, if money was the problem, if scope was the problem, change your scope and give you more money, right? Then you solve both your problems, right? But it's very, very objective. What are your problems? Why do you want to leave, right? Scope and money. Let me fix both. Fix both? Okay, you stay.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily about trust.
Do you feel like after you did that, right, people view you different?
Not one bit.
Is it?
Not one bit.
Oh.
Well, I don't know. I can't relate. I never worked in corporate like for a long time. Yeah.
I feel it's 50-50 because the first time I did it, I resigned. And then after that, everybody looked at me differently. But the second time I resigned, everybody's like, it's okay, man. Don't worry about it.
Right.
I think it's really depending on the office culture.
Correct.
Because the first round, I feel it was quite painful lah. No, not gonna lie. It's damn painful. Like you can hear people crying in the toilet one. Confirm. Yeah. Like every month confirm got one fella crying in the toilet one.
What the fuck?
Yeah. But it's quite normal lah. So after that, I felt like maybe this is part of like growing pains. Second company, nobody cried in the toilet, which I was like, wow, this is a good sign.
Generally, yes, it's a good sign.
Yeah. And then my boss at the time, his name is Wing Kyong. He's been on the podcast as well. He had a very different mindset because he felt as if effectivity is key. I don't care what the fuck you do with your time. The other boss is very different. I mean, I don't want to shit on people, but he's not from Malaysia. Okay, so his culture might have been a bit different. And the way he managed was with an iron fist one. So you do means you do. If I say it means you do. So when I went to the second one and he gave me a lot of leeway, actually it really helped me grow a lot. Personally, I felt like he said that I don't care, just fucking do the work. Then you can go home and do what the fuck you want. Started watching my YouTube channel, so they're like, wow, thanks, Wing Kyong. He's like, yeah, man, you should go to grow that skill. Such a different corporate setting. Both also corporate setting, but one was iron fist and one was like, this guy is just shouldn't say shit like that.
Yeah.
But he also can be very tough, which I also appreciated with my work. So it really depends also for me lah.
Culture boss. Actually, my worst experience, right? I mean, I don't know if it's even legally allowed to do this kind of crap anymore, but during my first job, right? I mean, I'm not sure you all know the punch card.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, we had a punch card to like come into work. You know, I thought it was so ridiculous. I mean, I'm not like the most punctual person. I'm always late like 2-3 minutes.
You were early like half an hour today though.
I didn't know this where exactly this spot, but anyway. There's this punch card, you know. So if you're late, right, it's like red color.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And then your on time is like black or green or whatever. But when you punch out, right, whatever, right. Then once a month, you kind of like get called to the partner's office and they're like, hey, Miss Lim, you were late like 14 times this month and stuff like that.
Sure.
I mean, it's red, right? Actually, to me, that was really one of the push factor for me to leave because I'm like, but I work so late hours, you never count now. At 2-3 minutes, then you said like 1 month I wasted 30 minutes of your pay time. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, that's exactly how I
it's
feel.
crazy, yeah.
That's exactly how I feel.
I'm like, I'm like, is this? I don't even know. Like, I mean, I'm not even in like that kind of job, and I just think it doesn't really make sense. Like, you track the time I come to work, but every day I work late extra 1 hour. I'm like, are you gonna pay me off this time off now? No,
If you were
right?
that strict of me entering, you should be strict with me leaving.
Yeah, you want me to leave on time at 5 o'clock? Maybe you should give me brownie points for leaving 2 minutes late, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy that you.
I know that feeling all too well, man.
Do people still use punch card now?
I mean, I don't know about now, but that was quite a long time
certain
ago.
Japanese companies do still do that. And like I know certain like I think if I'm not mistaken, like pharma also, they still do the punch card thing. But it's tag now lah. So when you tag, they register the time. Then when you tag out, they don't care lah.
No, I mean, if you get paid by the hour, I can understand. Like you're a contractor, then you
Yeah.
get paid by the hour. I mean, I get that. But I'm like full-time stuff, It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Especially when the guy's been working for like long time. I feel like you worked there for 1 year already. Like, come on, lah, dude. You didn't count.
It makes you feel underappreciated. Be like,
Correct. Exactly.
like 2 minutes you want to count, then I
Yeah.
put in extra 2-3 hours per week. Then how?
Yeah.
Resign lah.
That's how I felt with the first one.
Resign lah.
That's how I felt with my first job in corporate. I felt like they were always judging how come you don't come in at 9 or before 9. But you have to leave at 3 a.m.
Oh my god, very annoying. Yeah, I can't deal with that.
Bro,
also.
you have to leave at 3 a.m. Fuck. By the time I reach home, it's like 4. I mandi, I sleep. I have to come to office to avoid the jam. I need to sleep in the parking lot from 6 to 7,
Crazy.
6 to 8. Then I walk to office, 8:30 I punch in just because I want to be half an hour earlier. So I basically like 3 hours plus 2 hours in the parking lot, my sleeping time. And weekends also.
Crazy.
Yeah, and weekends I'm like, okay, it's not that bad because I can leave at 7:30. What the fuck, bro?
Not that bad, should be 5 lah.
Like your
bro.
perception of reality is also completely off, right?
It's
now.
gone. I never see the sun. I never see the sun for like a month. And then I remember one time he let me off at like 7 p.m. And I was like, fuck, I haven't seen the sun. It's so long.
It's setting already. Better run outside, man.
I was already outside and he was setting. I was like, fuck, I forgot what sunlight looks like. That was damn mad, okay. Then after that, I went second corporate setting, right? You can chow anytime, bro. Then I was like, anytime? Yeah, anytime. Then what time do I come in? As long as there's no meeting, you can come in like show face at 10:30. I'm like, sure not. Boss tell me 10:30 on my first day,
Next day you
I fucking scared. First day I come 8 a.m, I scared as shit. Bro, I sit outside the shutter there 1 hour.
That's a test, bro. You pass.
Then after that, my boss didn't even come in that day. Some other staff opened the shutters like, who are you? I'm like, oh, I'm John. It's my first day. A bit early, right? 9 a.m. Then I like, isn't it like normal time? She was like, not here lah, bro. It's 10:30 here lah. 10 lah. If you really can't late today, 9:30. Open the shutter, I sit down. I'm like, I haven't even got my laptop yet, bro.
Yeah.
Then I left at 4:30.
Corporate world, bro. I don't know, man.
It's just the rules they set. I swear, it's the rules. It's the culture they set. And sometimes they're like, hey, bro, today I gotta go at 4 because I need to be home for this very important dinner.
Go
My
lah.
boss like, just go lah. As long as you finish it later 8, you send to me. It's okay, one. Damn chill. But the first one, ooh.
Yeah, I think depends on the culture and maybe the industry as well. I think normally in a bit more creative line, they're quite chill about it generally,
Yeah.
but certain ones they
The
really,
banks and all that is very difficult.
okay, I don't know lah. I think my banking experience like not really the
Not
most
so hardcore.
normal. Because I used to work at the group level, so we kind of like manage
I see.
policy implementation and all the stuff across. Like for me, right, everyone on my team knows Mei Phing does not function before 10 o'clock. Okay, I can't think before 10 o'clock. So normally what I do is that I kind of like walk in at 9:30. I'm like one of the last people to arrive, and now everyone like knows. I come in at 9:30. Normally I have a cold drink, so that's when I process my email because I'm like brain freeze, right? I can't think right now, and I'm like in a happy mode. The early morning, like sugar boost, right? Sugar high. Then after that, I like for me, if I need to do anything, to me it's like from 10.
I see.
Any meetings before 10, like I can't function unless it's like a really big meeting.
Yeah. Then no choice, oh.
Then no choice. Then they'll be like, hey, maybe you need 8 o'clock. Then, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
But if I
Yeah.
can control, then I don't do anything. I think you need to find like the time that works for you also.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
You play to your strengths. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna throw a curveball. Do you know who's Vanessa Lau?
Yeah.
Who's Vanessa Lau?
I don't know. Just one of my guys asked me to ask you if you know Vanessa Lau or not.
And
I just-
she's a Instagrammer.
That's it.
Huh?
No, because MJ asked.
Oh,
who's
MJ just
Vanessa Lau.
asked.
Then I'm like, okay, sure, just ask only lah.
Who's Vanessa Lau?
Yeah, but who's Vanessa Lau?
She's a business coach who
she's a
teaches
business-
Instagram.
Oh, really?
Oh, are we talking about the same person?
I don't know.
Oh, holy shit. 267K. This one,
Yeah.
Oh, that's Vanessa Lau.
Bruh.
Online business. Yeah.
Online business, what does she do? Oh, did you get inspired by her? Were you inspired by Vanessa Lau?
No?
Oh, okay. She answers your question, MJ.
No offense, Vanessa.
She's accidental inspired.
Yeah,
bro. The
you
career coaching
accidentally
came to
inspired,
her,
right?
bro.
Yeah.
I feel like this thing is going to be very helpful for younger individuals lah. I like
Oh yeah.
most of the people. Even right now, my wife is 28. She don't have the guts to ask for a promotion, and even sometimes when she wanted to change job, then when she U-turn back in and they raised the pay, then she came back home and she said she's probably going to stay. Then I'm like, no. You went there with a mind of resigning. You resign. You're not happy. Just leave. Find another opportunity. Because
But how you know though? Maybe things change. Maybe she changed to a different department or what.
she really hated it, and I know it for a fact that she got psychoed from the HR as well. Like what she said, when you went in with a firm decision, you just get out.
But is
you
she
know?
happier now?
Now she's much more happier lah. So I don't know what's analogy I can do. Like when I went for a wedding, I went to check for my wedding photo earlier. All right. So I went in with this mindset. I'm like, I'm not gonna nego with these buggers because they know, wedding photo, when you give more photos, you must pay more. I'm not gonna nego. So I went in. They were trying to give me extra package. I'm like, no. Then they showed me the images. Then I told myself, if I didn't wow, means it's a no. The picture is a no. So I just said no. Then I just said no to all the picture. Then when I saw a few got nice, I take the nice picture lah. Then I took just nice the amount. Then they were like, you should take more picture because we won't actually save this. Then we will delete all these images. It will be gone forever. Then my wife's like, maybe we should pay more. Then I'm like, no. You see, no, you must stick firm,
But at that time when you say she's happier now lah, but when she U-turn, was she happy after the U-turn or she damn sad also?
No, she just told me there was more money. That's it.
But was she is she happier after that?
Now she's happier about.
But same job lah.
Different job.
Oh, different job.
We change. Like, that's why I totally understand what you said.
It was like boundary, no.
Yeah, no. Done. So I understand what you said about the cycle. These people, they will give you some of the thing. They will tackle with you what really means the most for you. And you U-turn. But
I feel HR also sometimes quite lazy to find new people. So that's why they cycle ma.
No, that's because salary retention is their KPI.
Oh. So salary retention is a KPI.
No, talent
Talent. Sorry,
retention is KPI.
1 year out. Sorry.
Yeah.
So you go to the boss like, boss, today I keep one talent.
No lah, I mean per year lah, right? I'm assuming per financial year lah.
They calculate the churn lah, right? If your churn is high, it's no bueno, right?
Bro, my HR at the time, my first job, she was convincing me so hard to stay. But I was like, this place, right, is as poisonous as fucking Chernobyl. I'm getting out of this fucking place.
Chernobyl.
I like the reference.
Yeah, I like, no fucking way, right? You're going to say anything. Even if you give me hard gold, right? You give me a Bentley right now, so I'm not staying here, okay?
You can take the Bentley,
Even
then
to
resign.
today, when I drive by Pusat Badan Damansara, right? My hair still fucking stands, okay? And
Trauma.
Yeah, it's traumatic shit, okay? I see the car park like, oh my fucking God, I used to sleep in that car park. And at that time when I was working there, they were doing renovation. DC Mall, the area, they used to be the passport area, help uni and all that, right? So when they were tearing it down, there was no food there some more. Bro, the food, right? They had like 3 stalls in the parking lot, bro. And then when people reverse the car, all the smoke blow into the food. Then
Bro, that's gnarly, dude.
Yeah.
There's extra taste, bro.
6 months I was doing that shit. I'm
Extra
like, wow, I don't know how I did it. Then I go to the next one in Mid Valley. I'm like, I see the light, Such a contrast I felt.
So your experience actually varies depending on the company and the culture, ma. So
Yeah, definitely.
in my view, a useful safeguard is you talk to someone in that company that you want to join before you actually join.
Oh, I see. I see.
And you'll be surprised how much people want to share. You legit, right? Let's say you want to apply for Petronas, okay, whatever, right? I don't know anyone in Petronas. Just legit go on LinkedIn, right? And you go and message a few strangers. Say, hey, look, I'm interested in joining whatever role, right? How do you like it there? Dude, people share, man.
Is it?
People share. I'm very surprised. Then you can get insight. Then you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, maybe not lah, right?
Maybe that was my mistake, my first job.
Yeah, but then it's also your first job, right? You're desperate to make a break.
It was the name also lah. It was the name Ogilvy. I'm like, wow, such a nice name.
But I give you a more advanced strategy to what you did. I think you did a really good thing, but you may want to target the right department.
That's true.
It's a huge company, particularly if you're looking for huge companies, right? You see some department lengang kangkong really. But the other side is very intense, You don't go and ask the wrong department, be like, very free, go back at 5, and then you go to blow.
Oh, true. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, because I actually had someone actually asked me, this person was quite smart, he asked to the exact person. He asked me, he said, hey, maybe I noticed that you used to work in this team. So do you know this person? Because I applied for a role in her team and just wanted to hear some feedback if you've actually worked with her before. So I was like, oh, very specific question. I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
He came with a plan.
Yeah, for sure. for sure.
The fear to that is, I have heard stories, right, of some people taking my advice, right? They go and message someone. They legit, right, message their future boss.
Oh, fuck me, bro.
That one is too close to the fire.
No, that's why if you don't know what position you're applying for, then there's no clarity. Then you don't know who to go and ask.
Yeah,
Square one, clarity.
Yes.
How you know later you ask an exec, then after that you work there, then the guy become your manager. Oh shit!
but I think it's okay because you don't have to give your opinion. You're just asking for their opinion. So be careful again. What you said just now is don't gossip. They said something. Oh yeah, not good. They be like, oh, is it? Tell me more. Oh yeah, bad. Oh, then gone. Later you come in, really become your manager. But if you just if you just say that, okay, thanks so much for sharing. I think this really helps me a lot. In my decision or whether I would like join the company. Like hopefully we can keep in touch. Blah blah blah, and then like clean.
Wow, so tiring. You need to think what you're saying, need to say what you think and everything.
That might be a good idea to think before you speak,
Let me tell you something. I am a fella who talks before I think.
That was
long ago. I am no longer that person.
Why?
speaking to the mic for you.
I am no longer that person. After that incident, I literally think first before I talk. You see, so I must tell you this. I've told this a lot of times in the podcast. I feel like so me and my bud right here, John. So, we used to gym a lot, Yeah. Stone cold. We were in that phase.
Stone cold.
We were in that phase. Masculinity stuff.
Got one time, right? You said cone stole,
Cone stole?
Bro, it was so funny,
Again,
Stone cold become.
I don't think when I talk that. Now I do, okay? But another reason why I'm a very good MC because I talk then I think, I feel. Anyway, see, this is me. Anyway, wait. Let me go back to the story again. So after we finish gym, right, we're like, we take out our shirt and everything. We're like pumped up and crap, abs and steel, Okay, so we were waiting for the lift. And I have my neighbors, they were coming, So I was in the lift and I noticed she had a haircut. She was bald, okay? It was a woman.
Mei Phing is like analyzing.
So I straight away just, nice haircut. She had breast cancer. And so she told me that she had breast cancer. So I immediately just fell to the ground, There ain't no comeback there. I mean, how do you come back from...
You don't, Poye.
Yeah, I don't laugh.
The answer is you don't. That one is irreversible. So it is something you will live with for the rest of your life.
That was a key...
It's a hard lesson in life.
Lesson for me to think before I talk. So now when
I just want to say he felt very bad about it for not just one day. He feels bad until today. And he was lying down on his living room floor for like 1 hour while drinking soya bean with me after the workout. So he didn't mean it.
And ever since that day, whenever I go to a new setting, a new job, or meeting new friends, for the first 10 or 20 minutes, I will just sit down and listen to them talking first. Then I can gauge what I can talk and I cannot talk.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Learning from experience.
Yes. When I go out with my friend's friend, I sit down, I see what I can do. Then okay, this is the people I can talk with. Then I talk.
But imagine a world, right, where everybody is like that. And then you meet each other for the first time. And everybody's quiet for 20 minutes and just look at each other.
Then you go back.
No, I actually don't think there will be a world like that because now you can stalk people on social media.
Yeah.
Ooh,
so you do know, it's even more stalkerish, right? We all look at each other, I know a lot about you. But when no one's talking.
Somewhat, right. Yeah.
That is so creepy.
Scary, Yeah, wow. So, yeah, man. So, hopefully, I don't know, okay, but before we end up, because I know you have some others.
Oh, you have to
a matter to lift, yeah. So, before we end the pod, right, is there anything you want to just give a last minute tips?
Oh, no, actually, I got a final question.
Oh, yeah, you need to.
But hold on, I'm going to take my Be Real. Do you know what Be Real is?
Yeah.
You know what Be Real is?
Yep.
I don't know what Be Real is, and this is very strange.
No, I thought she's recording, so I'm not talking.
So there's this new app called Be Real. It gives you a notification. So it gives you a notification every day, once. And you take a photo of what's in front of you and your selfie right now, where you are.
Oh, I saw that crap. You did that a few days ago.
Yeah, it's so interesting. So I wanted to test it. And when I scroll through, I realized that a lot of people in life are either A, stuck in traffic, B, taking public transportation, C, in bed, or D, they are in school or working. It's the same shit, bro. And I'm like, wow.
The Matrix.
Yeah. It's like life
Red
actually...
pill or blue pill?
Life is really not that interesting. And it's a good way for me to feel as if like I don't need to own a Lambo. I just need to see that actually majority of people are living a quite normal life.
I think our life quite interesting. Her life is
Hers definitely. I don't know.
Your life definitely lah.
Aren't we supposed to give her the book of the questions and stuff?
Okay, so I have a question from the previous guest actually. Okay, so what we usually do is we have a question from the guest before. You give us a question, then you will give a question to the next guest. So the next guest tomorrow will ask him your question. But
Okay.
the question from the previous guest is, what is one belief, okay, that many people don't believe in, but you strongly do? So You remember that part, okay? This belief, right, will be publicized and be viral. So social pressure will be big, but you will defend it. So what is that belief that you have? Not many
What
people
is
do.
that belief? I think we don't need as much as you truly think that you believe. I mean, you don't need as much as you
Truly
think you need. Yeah. This one, you know, the whole minimalism thing has been like past 2 years, right? You know, I've been a minimalist since like 2015. Okay, my house is my house is empty. Like you guys ask me, do I watch I don't have a TV at home.
But the thing is, do you need a TV now though?
I don't need TV.
Exactly though.
Yeah, my house is very empty now. My boyfriend used to say like if someone were to come into our house, they would think we got robbed.
Oh, too late.
Is
Yeah,
that,
the robber too late.
is that empty? No, it's empty, right? And I think to me, right, a lot of people say, oh, you know, we want freedom in life, freedom in life. I'm like, get rid of your crap. That's freedom. Because we spend a lot of money trying to buy things that want to make us happy. But like I said, it's a symptom, right? You need to fix your skills, your clarity, your job. Then you naturally feel happy. You don't need to buy all these things. Right? So the more money you spend, then the more money you need, the more you feel trapped that you can't quit your current job because it pays you. You actually limits your decision making. You feel like I can't do what I want to do, and hence I need to settle. And then when you go on social media, you feel a lot worse about it. So one thing I'll defend definitely to the end is be a minimalist. Don't buy stuff that you don't need. And the true freedom comes in having choices that you can truly make.
Whoa.
And to me, that's to me, I feel is my life. Because a lot of people ask me, how did you just quit your high-flying job? You made so much money. You just say, okay, thanks, bye. I'm coming back to Penang. And how can you survive up to today? I'm like, because I have a lot of savings. I don't buy crap that I don't need. And I don't live a very expensive life. So now I can do whatever I want. So people look at me, oh, maybe you're doing whatever you want. I'm like, you can make that choice too. But you want your fancy bag, you want a nice car, how?
I do want a nice car. Fuck.
See, that's why I'm gonna buy my.
I actually just want to travel to Japan every year. I think that's my go-to.
Yeah. But travel is definitely one of the things that I think I value a lot. So having that freedom and being a minimalist and I don't spend a lot of money on stuff, it really allows me to travel. I've been to 37 countries.
Wow, that's insane.
What?
Well, I'm only able to do that because I don't buy. I focus my money or my savings or whatever on things that I really enjoy. And I travel with one carry-on luggage.
Correct.
I've been to 37 countries.
Wow.
You travel with one carry-on.
Yeah. I've been to Europe for like 1.5 months just with a carry-on.
What's inside lah?
How is that even
Like
possible?
Pandora
inside
box.
Yeah, like you go during summer, is it? That's why I don't need all the jacket.
Singlet
No,
lah.
normally I go during autumn because I like autumn, yeah.
Wow. Actually, I know we're supposed to end this podcast, but I'm very curious because when I speak to a lot of people, especially the archetypal Chinese male, right? Not to say that Indians don't think that way, but I'm just saying I feel like I have a lot of conversations with Chinese males. And they always like, I don't need to travel, I save money. Then I feel like it somehow, I don't know whether it's just me defending my own feeling that I think you really should travel, bro. I think you really need to see the world out there, man. It's a big world out there, you know. When you really see like how big it is, you quite humbled on, you know. But do you feel that way, or do you feel as if it's just that person's decision in life?
I think it's individualistic because if you look at like majority of the travelers out there, they just go into another country shopping.
Yeah,
But that's not what you mean by life experiences,
Yeah.
right? You mean like looking at interesting things, sitting down, people watching, culture
Yeah.
watching, you know, taking their public transport, going to their cafes and like living like the locals. Most people don't enjoy that kind of travel.
Oh, I love that.
Most people go there, they're like, why spend so much money? Go there, go shopping only what? You can buy online, ma. So you see, the version of the usual travel, that's like, I would say 90-95%.
I see.
So there may be other things that they truly value in life, like maybe buy a house, car, maybe they have kids, which I think are all really important things too. So I think while you may believe that traveling opens up, you know, maybe a fresh perspective for you, like a different thought process and so forth, but some people may not want that. Maybe hard for you to accept, but some people don't actually want that.
It's so crazy to me when I hear that. That's the thing. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
damn. It's quite wild. But I mean, I respect it. It's not going to tell them, hey, bro, go. No, I'm going to push them, right?
No, I mean,
Just
for
thought of
them to
it.
travel, what they're going to do, they go shopping mall, then you're like, bro, I didn't bring you here to go shopping mall.
Yeah. It's just, I feel it's so crazy. But yeah. Yeah, so I think we're going to go to the last one. So any last forms of advice?
Advisor.
I like what you said about the corporate world is a game. So you learn how to play it and you do well, but there are actually some very simple rules, as I said. So I'll repeat the 3-step framework. First is get clear on the corporate world culture, mindset. Don't go in with your own set of assumptions. You are not the boss. So, you know, be open to learn what exactly you need to be doing in your role. Then build your core confidence foundation. Skills. Confidence comes from competence. Once you have the skill, you truly believe that you can do it, then you don't need to get tied to like a job, a company, or a boss. You can always move and do whatever that you want. Then the third one is gaining visibility. No one likes to be that person sitting in the corner that works hard but nobody knows,
Nobody knows.
you know, what value that you bring. So 3 steps: get clear, confident, and
Be
visible. Yeah.
Fantastic advice. Thank you so much for coming, Mei Phing. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for the invite.
It's a pleasure, man. Okay. I'll put all your Instagram stuff and all your YouTube and stuff at the description below. So if you guys want to check out Mei Phing stuff, just check out the description below, man. Thanks, Mei Phing.
Bye, thanks.
Okay.